Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're taking a look at Lianorn Vivace. If you didn't know, I was a big, my longtime viewers might know, but I'm a big fan of this deck. I've been playing it since set 6 dropped. I think the deck's really fun, and with the inclusion of Tromid in, I believe, December for us, I've been testing it online. I've been having a lot of fun, and I've been playing Lianorn more at locals again. So I figured I'd talk about this deck since I really didn't have a chance to talk about it because I was on my big break. So we'll get started with the list. So we've got the Rorwa ride line. So the grade 0 Rorwa, the grade 1, when the 1 is placed over the 0, you make a plant token. Get the energy generator out of the side. The grade 2 one to kill a plant or a rear guard to make 2 plant tokens. So basically, you're getting 2 free bodies on turn 2. That's the quote unquote appeal of the ride line. And then lastly, we have Lianorn herself. I'm kind of sad that she's going to get replaced with Tromid because I've always liked this DSR that I've had, but it's okay. So she has two abilities. The first is to counterblast one, draw a card, and then you either call a card to field or you discard a card. So it's kind of nice. You can always like fetch out or have a chance to get like one card closer to something like your Rosarium Fairies or pretty much anything you would think is important, right? And then the other ability is on attack, you Soul Blast one, discard a card, boost with your back row, assuming they all have the boost ability. And she gets an extra drive check. And at the end of the battle, if you did 3 or more, you untap 2 of your rear guards in the back row. So basically, the whole back row booster, she hits like not quite dimensional police numbers, but like she hits like she hits pretty hard, and then she'll untap the 2 in the back row so that your 2 rear guard attacks are going to hit pretty good. Basically, this is just you'll be on this for a turn and you're going straight to Vivace right after. It's not something we're planning on staying on. So that will be all for the ride deck. Get that there. And we'll go on to the grade 3s. So we'll talk about Martian Fleur, Lianorn Vivace. Love this card. I was hunting down the FFRs of this card for like I think it was like a year and a half, and then I finally found them at like something affordable, and I was like, thank God. But when you place her on the Vanguard circle over a Lianorn, you become in the Unison dress state, and you draw a card. Now this also the draw card also applies if you like most games don't last that long, but like if you persona ride over her, you will also draw a card for the Unison dress again. So that is very nice. It turns your persona rides into a pot of greed, which if you play Yu-Gi-Oh, you know pot of greed's pretty good. But uh, her other ability is when she attacks, you untap all of your guys and have them boost her, regardless if they have the boost ability or not. So you hit for I think the biggest I've had her hit for on that first swing was like in the 60s or 80s. So you swing for a big amount that your opponent's gonna probably perfect guard. You do your drive checks, and then end of battle you counterblast one to restand 3 units, give your front row +5, and then she'll lose a drive check. So you can restand her and then your 2 front rows, which will normally be 2 copies of Rosarium Fairy, which we'll get to. And then our last grade 3 is just the Fire Regalis. This card, I might have gushed about it a bit in the Odium profile. I love this card so much. This is like it's in my top. I'd say I think it's probably my favorite one. It's either this or Twin Cast. Like these are just such good cards, man. Basically just removing it from the game from your drop zone to look at top 5 and find a piece that you're really looking for. How do you beat that? Like it's just it's so free. That's it for the grade 3s though. Nothing super controversial, crazy, anything like that. We're going into the grade 2s though, and we have just a little bit. We've got 4 copies of Legolas. So this is if you have 2 or more grade 1 or less in the back row, gets 5k power, 5k shield during both players' turn, which is pretty good. So you have a easy to access 10k shield, And then on play, you counterblast 1, look at top. I believe it is 7, unless something has changed. Yeah, it's top 7. You get to look for a Lianorn. If you did not hit it, you after you shuffle, you draw a card. So you're either finding your win condition or you're getting a free card that kind of gets you closer to drawing your win condition. It's pretty nice. The other nice thing is that it'll have the boost and the extra 5k power in the back row, so you can just put this in one of your corner pockets, have it boost really big, and then one of your Rosarium Fairies is going to copy its power. I've got 2 Brave Shooters, so just the energy Counter Blast or Energy Blast 3 to draw a card if you guard with it or discard it for ride. It's pretty nice. The Persona Ride ability does not come up very often with this deck, so it's not something you really have to worry about or like kind of plan your game around. Like, oh, I'm gonna need energy for its on call. It's not gonna happen that much. And then lastly is 1 copy of an ace unit. It's an outlet to use your energy for that top 7. Find a card, send it to grave, and then call a card from grave back to field equal to your Vanguard. It's nice. It's really nice. I mean, if you're not playing a ace unit in one of your decks, you have to have like an insanely good reason. Like it has to, and even then you're still like, you could probably squeeze it in, like realistically. But we got 4 copies of the best grade 1 in this deck. It's Rosarium Fairy, so it has the ability on play to kill a rear guard to make 2 plant tokens. So the cool thing that you can do is if you're going, let's say you're going second, we'll just put that there for a second. You ride this, you make a plant token, it has to go back here, and then if you're like, hey, I want to put on some pressure, you call this to realistically wherever, eat one of the plant tokens, and you make 2 more. So you just have like 3 attacks, hit decent numbers, turn 1. It's really good. If you're trying to rush your opponent out of the game, that's how you do it. But yeah, this card's really great for that. But the other thing it's really great for is on swing. If your opponent's at grade 3, you get to pick one of your back row rear guards, and she gains its power for that battle. So Legolas that we just talked about, if it's a 15k in your back row, she's going to swing for 23, which is really cool. If you buff up Legolas in any way, which we have plenty of ways to do, then she'll gain however much power you put back there. If you flip you have 2 of these in the front row, and you put a over trigger on one of your back row guys, you're swinging for 100 million 2 times. It's kind of scary, but it's really good. It's a really good card, and to talk about with it because it's an important part of the deck is the 4 copies of Silver White. Now, Silver White, I don't know if this is gonna make it to the Tromid deck that we'll have in December, but it is an insanely good card. You basically pick one of your rear guards that it gets +5 for every other grade 1 or less, or for every grade 1 or less that you have on your board. So even if you have 1 Logless in the back row, if you have 4 grade 1s on the field, you're pumping something up by 20k, which is just insane, especially with this because you just put it on a back row and she's like, oh shoot, hold up, I can hit. But it's a really important card to this deck. And then we have 4 copies of Sincerette. This is your other energy cycler. So you're playing 6 energy cyclers in this deck, but you can also Soul Blast for her, which is basically if you discard her for ride, you get to show that you have a Lianorn or Magnolia either in your ride deck or your Vanguard circle, and you draw a card for Energy Blast 3 or Soul Blast 1. But the other really important part about her that we like a lot is if she's in your drop zone, you can put her to the bottom of the deck, pick one of your back row guys, and make its base power 15. So again, we've been talking about getting this guy really big in your back row. For the purpose of this, you can set his base to 15, and then his own ability will give him +5. So a 20k booster that this can copy to swing for 28, which is just insane. But also, if you Persona Road, instead of swinging or giving it 15k base, you give it 20k base instead, which is insane. This card, and this card are just like custom cards for Lianorn. Like they're insanely good, man. Uh, that's it for our like really really important grade ones. The next up stuff is like I don't want to call it filler, but it's like not the meat and potatoes of what Leonorn wants. So 3 copies of Alvina. Alvina's really good. I believe she gets cut in December when Traumad comes out. So if this is a barrier to entry for you, do not worry about it. It will be cut relatively soon. Uh, she's Energy Blast 3 to either grab back in order or grab back a grade 1 or less, which helps you board build, which is really nice. 2, I believe it's Persia is how you pronounce her name. She has the if your Vanguard is in Unison Dress, or if you reveal a Unison Dress from your hand, you can Soul Blast 1 to bring back a card with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard. It's kind of nice. You do kind of there's not too often that you want like a grade 2 back, but having like extra revival cards is really nice. She can also at beginning of main phase just put herself to soul. I mean, if you need soul, you need soul, I guess, but I haven't had too many situations where it's came up. 1 copy of Alentis. So Alentis is a really interesting choice. There'll come times where you just kind of like early game, you'll do something like call or counterblast off Lianorn, call Laglass, search off Laglass, and then that'll be all your counterblast spent. So you can at least, if you have this on board at the end of turn, you can retire it and countercharge 1, and draw a card, which is really nice. So it's not something you have to worry about maxing out per se, but it is a really good card to have, and there will definitely be more added once we get into December. And lastly, the generic 3 perfect guards and 1 sanctitude. There's an argument where you could take out sanctitude to play another one of these if you want to, just to like be able to board build, and be like aggressive and stuff. Realistically, it doesn't come up too often. I'd rather have the free perfect guard against triple drive units. So that will be it for our grade 1 count. And lastly, we go on to the triggers, which are very this is the very like cookie cutter part. Like, I mean, you could count some of these, some of the deck building choices as cookie cutter, but for the most part, like you can change up ratios to however you want to fit them, except for things like Rosarium, the Cycler, Vivace. Everything can be tailored to your personal preference there. But I think the trigger lineup is something very simple as the best over trigger in the game, 4 copies of the effect crit, 4 copies of this crit, 3 draw triggers, and 4 heal triggers. So the logic with playing the draw triggers is realistically you're already hitting super big with Lianorn, and the Rosarium Fairies are just going to take power from something in your back row. So it doesn't really matter to have the fronts per se. Besides, like if you're desperate for the extra shield, but realistically, this deck is desperate to draw cards and find other cards in your deck. So I'd rather play the 3 draws, and I don't believe that changes once set 13, or not set 13, set 11 comes out. So I think 3 draws is the way to go, and obviously 8 crits, you want your opponent dead. Any heal trigger that you want, whether it's effect trigger, different art, you play them if you want them. But again, we just like the standard. We keep it classic. Extra 15k shield is better than situational 20k shield. And that is it for this deck profile. I appreciate you guys coming out, checking to watch it. We got more coming. I got more decks to continuously talk about for 15 to 20 minutes, whatever it is. But I'll catch you guys on the next one, man. Deuces.